Hello everyone and welcome back. So in our last video we talked about, or we learned how to import CSV data into Microsoft Access, as well as creating relationships between those tables. So as I said, our next video will focus on creating reports, and we cannot create reports without queries. So if the question is about creating reports, we create a query. If the question is about creating labels, we create a query. If the question is about creating an extract, we create a query. Hopefully we'll see examples on all these as we go on in the video. All right, so using the data from our last video, which is the 2023 specimen, we imported these two tables and created a relationship as required by the question. So today we go into question 22, where we are expected to create a tabular report. Now it says that using fields from both tables produce a tabular report. Select the records where build year was after 2010, length is 40 or less. It contains a new field called total births, which is calculated at runtime. Now this field will add the sleeps field to the crew field. It shows only the fields yacht name, builder name, type, length, price, build year, build country, sleeps, crew, and total births in this order, with data and labels displayed in full. Do not group the data. It sorts the data into ascending order of type, then descending order of length, has a page orientation of landscape, fits on a single page wide, includes the heading yachts less than 15 years old as a title displayed in a larger font size at the top of the page. It has your name, center number, candidate number in the footer of the report, so it displays on every page. Save and print your report. All right, so we have an idea what we expected to do. Now, as I said, before we create a report, we need to create a query. Now, a query is basically posing or asking your database some questions, and the reply will be exactly what you asked for. All right. So for the queries, it's normally selects records where up to the point here, which is the field you're supposed to use, and sometimes we sort the data. Many a times we can sort the data in the query, but there are a few occasions where sorting the data in the query will be too much work, so we just have to do that in the reports. All right. Okay. So now to create a query, we start with this point, shows only the fields. All right, yacht name, builder name, type, length, price, because this helps us to know which fields will be included in our query and in what order. All right, so quickly let me go in there. We want to create, so we head to create. Now it's query, so we move to query wizard. We leave it on simple query wizard. Then here we need to order or select our fields in the right order. So it says the field yacht name. So yacht name cannot be found in this table, so we head to the other table, which is the SP02 yachts. So we include yacht name. The next is builder name, which is not here, it's in the builders table. So we switch to the builders table and choose builder name and add. The next is type, which is not in this table, it's in the SP02 yacht, so we add. The next is length, which is here. The next is price, which can be found here. The next is build year, which can be found here. The next is build country, which is in the SP02 builders table. The next is sleeps, which is in the other table, sleeps. Then crew and total birth. But then total birth cannot be found in any of our two tables. If we look at SP02 yacht, it's not here. If we look at SP02 builders, it's not here. This is because the question says it contains a new field which is calculated at runtime. Right. Once it's a new field, it is non-existent. It cannot be found in any of our tables. So we cannot add it in this view. All we can do is what we have here. All right. Secondly, now there are times where it will give you shows only these fields, and then this here is the criteria for your query. This is the questions you are going to pose to your database. There are times where the fields here, or let's say the field you are going to apply the criteria on, or the field you are going to pose the question on, is not included here. But in this case, let's say build year is included here and length is included here. So that's no problem. But if it happens that the field you are going to create or ask the question on is not here, you can add it, and then inside your query, you do not display it. But for now, everything is okay. We have it in the right order. So let's go to next. Next. Now the query name. Let's try to make it simpler. Sometimes you might end up creating a query on the same table, which will end up confusing you. So let's use the question number. So let's say we make it query 22. That shows us that is a query for question number 22. So I finish. And this is what we get. All right, this is our first step in the query. But this is only selecting the fields. We have 467 records, which is too much for our reports. So let's head into design view. We can right click design view, or we go to home, we get design view here. All right. So under query design, now it is essential that the relationship is created before we even venture into the query. And we've already done that, all right, in the previous video. So it says now to deal with our criteria. So we have this. We can close this property sheet for now. If you want it, we can always come here to get it. But for now, you close it. So in here, we have the field. In here, we have the table in which the field is found. In here, we have the option to sort on any field we want. And then here we have a show. So if it happened that we added a field that was in the criteria but wasn't supposed to show, we can just untick it and it won't show. But in this case, we don't do that. Then we have the criteria where we actually set the criteria or the questions. Okay. So here it says build year was after 2010. So under build year. Now, build year is, let's look at build year. Build year is the numeric field, all right? So for the numeric fields, we can use just the greater than and less than and so forth, all right? So here it says after 2010. So for 2010, we can just use after 2010 is the same as greater than 2010. After 2010. Assuming the question required 2010 or more, or 2010 and beyond, then we could say greater than or equal sign. All right, now in Access, we cannot have the mathematical greater than with a slash beneath, all right? So it's a greater than sign and the equal sign. So if the question said 2010 or more, which means that 2010 is inclusive, then we need a greater than and equal sign. But this one, it only said after 2010, which is greater than 2010. So anything beyond 2010, all right? And because it's a numeric field, we can straight away use greater than 2010. So let's run the query and let's see. So our build year, currently our records are 60, reducing from a whooping 467. So let's see. So all the build years we have are after 2010. At least we have 110 correct. So we go back into the design view. And then here it says length is 40 or less. Length was also a numeric field, so we can use the same less than and greater than. So length is what? 40 or less. So less than, if we do less than 40, that will give us 39 and below. But it said 40 or less. So 40 is inclusive. So we say less than or equals 40. So anything 40 and below. All right. When we do this, we run. Now our records are 34. All right. So let's see length. So we don't have anything beyond 40. The closest to 40 we have is 39.4 or so. So our query is right. So based on this, we are done with these two queries, all right, or these two criteria, and then our selection is also perfect. So we have to move to the contains a new field. Now to create the new field, we head on to the next empty section of our query design. So on the field line, we need to put the name of the field exactly as we were given. So it's total underscore births. So total underscore births followed by the colon. All right. So total underscore birth followed by the colon. So this is the new field name. Now, what are we expected to do? Is that this field will add the sleeps field to the crew field. Now, the sleep field is an existing field. When we are working with existing fields, we need to put them in square brackets. Okay, so we have sleeps, add to the crew. All right, so also in square bracket. So that's that. So we have this. So total birth is what? Sleeps plus crew. Because it is a field, an existing field, it needs to go in square brackets. So let's run our query to see. All right, so this is what we have for total births. Back into design view. So we are done. Now you say sort the data into ascending order of type, then descending order of length. Luckily for us, the arrangement is right. Type appears before length, so we can sort our query in, we can sort, yes, in the query and not in the report. So in here, under type, where do we have type? Yes, under type, we say ascending order. All right, it sorts into ascending order of type, then descending order of length. So length, descending order, and that's that. So let's see, type M comes before sale, which is right. And then for all the M's, the length is in descending order. So 40, 40, all the way to 24, and under sale to start descending order of the sale, which is 40. So everything is right. So we're done with our query. We are done with our query. So our query ended right here. Sorts the data into. Okay, so let's close the query and then save. Okay. Under normal circumstances, I should just proceed to the report. But because I want to make it even clearer, we are now going to use the S24, all right, and create a query for that one as well, just to ensure that you have that down. So let me switch to that file, which is, I saved it as M24DB. So this is it. Okay. So we had a table J2421 bookings and J2421 child. Let's see, our relationships are existent. Let's close. So now let's head into the question, which is S2421. Now, question 13. Using the fields from the child and bookings table, produce a tabular report that selects the records where day is Monday, session is morning or sunrise. Contains a new field called total time, which is calculated at runtime. So the new field pops up again. Now, so it becomes total time equals this minus that times 24. Now, this brackets here is helping us to set up our calculation properly, using the Bodmer's rule, which says bracket first of division, multiplication, and then addition and subtraction. All right. So if these parentheses are not introduced, that means that the multiplication will happen. The multiplication will happen here before this subtraction happens, which will be totally wrong. All right. Then format this field to display as a numeric value to 1 decimal place. Okay. It shows only the field's child name, first name, last name, date of birth, day, session, start time, end time, total time, food allergy in this order. Now, this one is a bit tricky because the new field pops up before an actual existing field. All right. Do not group. It sorts the data into ascending order of session and ascending order of dB. So in here, we can see that the session comes before dB. So in this case, we cannot sort in the query like we did the very first time. All right. It will just be messy. And then it has a page orientation of landscape, fits on a single page with, includes this title, your name, center number, and so on and so forth. So let's dive into the query quickly. So create query wizard, simple query. Okay, so let's see. It says child ID is right here. First name, last name, not here, so we need to find it in the child table. First name, then last name. All right. Now, the child ID we just added is a foreign key. So, because there's a primary key, child ID, let's go with that instead of the foreign key. All right. Even though it will show the same data, let's go with the primary key. So, child ID, then first name, then last name. Okay. Then date of birth, which is here. And then we have day, which is not here. That's in the bookings. Then we have session, which is in the bookings. Then we have start time, which is in the bookings. Then we have end time, which is in the bookings. Then we have total time, which is a new field, non-existent, so we can add. Then we have food allergy, which is in the child's table. Okay. So we are done with selecting our fields. So we head next. So the query name becomes query 13. So 13. The question number to help us identify which query it is. Finish. At the first glimpse, we have 826 records, just too much. So we head into design view. Okay. So it says day is Monday. So as usual, let's check what kind of data day is. It's text. All right. So day is Monday. So day here. Monday. So we can just do quotation mark Monday. This means exactly Monday. Find exactly Monday. All right. Once you put the word in quotation mark, it means that you find the exact word or don't return anything at all. So when I run, I have only Monday, which is perfect. All right. Now, when it comes to text fields, we can go a bit further or a bit deeper. We have the options to choose where we can say, for example, as this session is, but we're still going to use the day before we come back. So we say Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday also in its own quotation mark. So if I can quickly do this, let's do this. So we have this Monday. So this means exactly Monday. This is the very first thing we did. If we want the option of Monday or Tuesday, we have Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so So this currently what I've typed in there. So let's run the query and see what we get. So we have Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday is there. Before we had only Monday. But we have Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. All right. So, and then we could also say the options to, let's say, start with a day that starts with T, or a day that ends with Y, or a day that contains D. Okay. Now, if we want to answer questions where it doesn't give a specific value, like Monday or Tuesday or sunrise or here or there, but it gives let's say a pattern to follow, a criteria. So say it starts with M or ends with Y or contains an E, we need to introduce the keyword like. All right, the keyword like. So we are telling ourselves that the data we want is like this. Now when we bring in like, we have a wild card, which is asterisk. This asterisk represents 1 or 1,000,000 characters. All right. So if I do like, let's say M, I'm telling ourselves that the day I want starts with an M. Then I bring asterisk. It can end with any set of characters. It can be N in 1,000,000 letters or characters following. I don't care. All right. So I'm saying that it should start with M. So let's try that right now. So day is like M. Like M. So we have it's only Monday that begins with M. All right. So this is working perfectly. So let's try ends in Y. Obviously, all the days ends with Y. So asterisk means that any character can start, but my day should end with Y. So I come here, I change this to asterisk Y, and I run. I get my 826 records again, because every single day ends with what? A Y. Now, if I want a day that contains I, right? I will say asterisk, then I asterisk. This means that any set of characters can begin. It should find I anywhere. I can even be the very second letter, or can be the last but one letter. And then it can end with any set of characters. So if I do that, if we do what we have here, I have like asterisk I asterisk, and I run. All I'm getting is Friday, because Friday is the only day that contains an I. All right. So that's it. So to head back into the question, to do what we are actually asked to do, it says Monday. That is what the criteria required. Day is Monday. So day is Monday, exactly Monday. So I put Monday in quotation, and then I'm okay. So all my days are Monday. I have 109 records. Then to further refine it, it says session is morning or sunrise club. These are also definite values. So under session, in quotation mark, I have, let me just put it here. In quotation mark, I have morning, or in quotation mark, sunrise club. Oh, sorry. Let me just confirm, morning or sunrise club. All right. So this is what I need to put in my access. Okay, so I run. Now records have reduced to 43. So I have morning, sunrise. So the options are just morning and sunrise. So my query is working perfectly fine. Those are the only two options, the only two questions. I'm done. So now contains a new field called total time. Now we could just come and create it here, but if we check the order here, total time appears before food allergy. All right, so we could just do, we can click. When we get this black arrow, we click. Let's see if we can just move it. Let's see if we can move it here. All right, so we've moved to allergy to the next. Then our new field, total underscore time, followed by the colon, which is what. So let me put it in here so that to be clearer. Total underscore time, followed by the colon. Okay. And then it says this will be calculated run time, and this is the order: end time minus start time. Now both end time and start time are fields, so they ought to go into square bracket. So end time, wait, let me check there. Yes. And always make sure your field names are typed exactly as you see or exactly as is in the table, else you get a pop-up that says parameter value. So I'll make it correctly this time, but then I'll go back and make a mistake in my field name, and let's see what happens. So end time minus start underscore time. Is that what we have there? So end time minus start underscore time. These are in parentheses to ensure that this calculation will run before multiplied by 24. Now multiply is the asterisk sign. All right, so this is the total time. So I can just copy this and paste it in here. Okay, it says contains an invalid. Oh, okay, my colon is behind the 24. Okay, so now let's run. So I have my total time there, which is fine after food allergy, which is perfectly fine. But we need to go a step further, because it says that we should format this field to display as a numerical value to 1 decimal place. Okay, so with this selected, we head to property sheet. Okay, so the format, let me see, I should have, okay, let me go for general number. Let's see if I'll get. Then the decimal is, did it say 0? Well, let me just confirm. 1 decimal, please. Okay, value to 1 decimal place. So now let me see if it's working. Okay, at the moment it appears to be working. Okay, so let me turn off that. So I'm done with my query again. This time I cannot sort here like I did before because of this problem. The first sort value or sort field is actually after the second. So session comes after DOB, but I have to sort a certain order within the descending order of session. So I cannot sort in my query like I did the last. So in this case, I need to sort in the report. All right. Okay, so let's head straight into the report using this. Then we head back to the specimen paper. Okay. So our query is done. We have 43 records, which is not bad. Save, close. Okay, so now we go to create report wizard. Report wizard. Or let me end this session on query now. Then I create a new one for reports. All right, so that doesn't become too long a video. All right, so I'll see you in the next video for reports.